about a boy named Quentin Jacobson who is obsessed with his next-door neighbor, whose name is Margo Spiegelman. Spiegelman is a German word, you may know. It means, like at least in America, in German neighborhoods in America, the Spiegelman was the man who made the mirrors and other kinds of glass, but particularly mirrors, and then would sell mirrors. And Margo, in this book, is very much a Spiegelman of a kind, because when people look at her, they don't see her, they see a reflection of themselves. They see something about them, not anything about her. This makes it very difficult for anyone in the novel to find Margo when she disappears. So early on in the book, this young woman disappears, and it's not clear whether she's died or whether she's run away or what has happened. And it's very difficult for the kids who are left behind to figure out what happened to her, not because the mystery itself is so difficult or so complicated, but because when they look at her, they don't see a whole person. They just see a reflection of themselves. I think this happens to all of us a lot when we look at other people. We don't see them through their eyes, we see them through our eyes. And it's very difficult to imagine what it is like to be someone else, because I'm the only person I ever get to be. My whole life is going to be lived looking out of my eyes. And so I will never quite know what it's like to be you. This part is kind of about that, but it's also about Santa Claus. These two boys, Quentin and his friend Ben, are having lunch, and their other friend is named Radar, and his girlfriend sits down next to them and says, "Hey." "Hey," I said. I'd had classes with Angela, and I knew her a little, but we didn't say hello in the hallway or anything. I motioned for her to sit. She scooted a chair to the head of the table. "I figure that you guys probably know Marcus better than anyone," she said, using Radar's real name. She leaned toward us, her elbows on the table. "It's a crap job, but someone's got to do it," Ben answered. "Do you think he's, like, embarrassed of me?" Ben laughed. "What? No," he said. "Technically," I added, "you should be embarrassed of him." She rolled her eyes, smiling, a girl accustomed to compliments. "But he's never, like, invited me to hang out with you, though." "Oh," I said, getting it finally. "That's because he's embarrassed of us." She laughed. "You seem pretty normal." "But really, you wouldn't worry? I mean, we've been dating for 5 weeks, and he's never even taken me to his house." Ben and I exchanged a knowing glance, and I scrunched up my face to suppress laughter. "What?" she asked. "Nothing," I said. "Honestly, if he were forcing you to hang out with us and taking you to his house all the time, it would definitely mean he did not like you. Are his parents weird?" I struggled with how to answer that question honestly. No, they're cool. They're just, like, overprotective, I guess." "Yeah, overprotective," Ben agreed a little too quickly. She smiled and then got up, saying she had to go say hi to someone before lunch was over. I'm going to skip ahead to when Ben and Hugh then go meet up with Radar. And they get to his locker, and Radar says, "I decided during government class that I would actually literally suck donkey balls if it meant I could skip class for the rest of the semester," he said. "You can learn a lot about government from donkey balls," I answered. "Hey, speaking of reasons you wish you had lunch with us, we just dined with Angela." Ben smirked at Radar and said, "Yeah, she wants to know why she's never been over to your house." Radar exhaled a long breath as he spun the combination to open his locker. He breathed for so long I thought he might pass out. "Crap," he said finally. "Are you embarrassed about something?" I asked. "Shut up," he answered, poking me in the gut. "You live in a lovely house," I said. "Seriously, she's a nice girl," said Ben. "I don't see why you can't introduce her to your parents and show her your house." Radar threw his books into his locker and shut it. The din of conversation around us quieted just a bit as he turned his eyes toward the heavens and shouted, "It is not my fault that my parents own the world's largest collection of black Santas." I heard Radar say the world's largest collection of black Santas probably 1,000 times in my life, and it never became any less funny to me. But he wasn't kidding. I remember the first time I visited. I was maybe 13. It was spring, many months past Christmas, and yet black Santas lined the windowsills. Paper cutouts of black Santas hung from the stairway banister. Black Santa candles adorned the dining room table. A Black Santa oil painting hung above the mantel, which was itself lined with Black Santa figurines. In total, Radar's parents owned more than 1,200 Black Santas. As a plaque beside their front door proclaimed, Radar's house was an officially registered Santa landmark, according to the Society for Christmas. You just gotta tell her, man, I said. You just gotta say, Angela, I really like you, but there's something you need to know. When we go to my house to hook up, we will be watched by the 2,400 eyes.